What is going on? This is Rouge Reviews, where we keep it for real, for real. I am Ru, aka the Culture Black Kid.
I'm Ifoma, aka Iffy.
And today we are reviewing the debut EP from Devaura, Volume 1, Learning in Public. She is an Aotearoa born, Sydney-based multidisciplinary, offbeat collective signee, and very highly acclaimed from all her credits since stepping into the scene. Like I said, this is her first EP, part of a trilogy that she will be releasing in the near future. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But bio done. Let us get into our overall thoughts. Ify, what's your overall thoughts?
Listen, this EP was definitely different from her work as a whole. We normally see, in this EP, we see Devaura take on the role of harmonizing and singing a lot more and really focusing on showing us that she's not really a one-trick pony, which a lot of people have that kind of conception of her. I think people like to see her as a rapper or just like a straight hip hop artist, and I'm like, no, she's not. She really showcased that. Truly, this EP is also like really different, and she differentiates herself from a lot of upcoming artists as well. And I have to be honest, first listen, I wrote it off a little bit, which I'll get into, but literally after the second listen, I was very much on board and changed my mind. So yeah, overall thoughts done.
Okay. My overall thoughts can be summed up by Devora's favorite word, which is intentionality. The way she approaches this EP is really, really amazing, both in a performance way, but also in a production way, which blends really, really nicely, and is really, again, intentional. I think, there's no better way to put it that I'll touch on a bit more. I don't think it's perfect, but as of this current moment, it is probably one of my favorite projects to be released this year. But let's get into that a little bit more, and let's start with our pros. Iffy.
Alrighty, first pro, listen, if you were kind of to just package Devaura into one project, this would be it. She hit the nail on the head in terms of showcasing all of her talents and her range and what she can deliver as an artist. Second pro, I think this is the perfect length. If you've been watching a lot of the reviews, you know I get so annoying about the length of a project. But yeah, 6 songs that don't go on for too long or too short, amazing to me. She perfected that. And I love the fact that she's like committed herself to continually do new things, and it's really, really well shown on the EP, which kind of takes me to like my favorite tracks. It's shown so well on the song Tundra. There's this beautiful switch up towards the end. Shout out Highlander for the production of it. But yeah, that drum and bass is crazy, and once again, a great way to kind of show her variation. Very classic Devaura at the end, which she's kind of known for. Another song I love, Fires. That song is so beautiful, and I've heard it live so many times before the EP, and it hits just as well finalized and has such a beautiful healing energy as well. And that incorporation of that like Afro beat and the drums make it hit home all the more for me. And yeah, the way it's mixed is heavenly. The reverb, oh my goodness. And finally, Meet Your Maker. It's just fun. That's all I gotta say. Those are my pros.
Nice. Before I get into any pros about the music itself, I just want to shout out the title of the EP.
Yes.
Learning in Public is fire. I don't know how someone has not used that title, and Devaura snatched it up, and again, it encompasses the project, it encompasses her journey as a whole beautifully. So shout out to the title, first and foremost. I think majority the project flows really, really nicely, that I might touch on a little bit later. I do think it is a nice blend of hip-hop and dance production and instrumentation, which blends so nicely. And I think, like you talked on, it allows Devaura to not be boxed in and people just see her as a rapper or a hip-hop artist. It is her continually being like, no, put any sort of production in front of me, or put something even more interesting in front of me, and trust I got it. I think that production and the performance goes hand in hand, has a really symbiotic feel about it, which can be heard on, like you mentioned, Tundra. Highlander and Devaura go hand in hand really nicely. I also like Bless's contribution to Eden as well, whether that's on the production or on the vocals. But my favorite songs is Vertigo. Love the chant vocals. It also feels like home through the production, the rhythmic choices, some of the drums. Fires. Wow. Also, I've seen it a number of times, and I think there is definitely a reason why Devaura has gotten so emotional about it over the past few weeks leading up to it, whether it was at her live performance release of the EP, whether it was on my Rouge Room episode with her, whether it was at her EP listening party. Like every time she has talked about that song, she has gotten emotional in some way and mentioned it was her favorite track as well, which I totally get and is probably one of the more underrated tracks on the EP. Definitely a sleeper
Agreed.
for people who are gonna lean more towards the Meet Makers or the more hype tracks. And I've talked on Venice before. I reviewed it like a year ago when it came out. Unfortunately, you probably can't go back and see that review, but I also gave it a very positive review. Actually, my review probably is on Triple J Unearthed or something like that.
Go
So
take a look.
go check it out. So yeah, those are my pros. With pros, maybe comes some cons. So yeah.
All right. I only have one, and it's just like my own personal kind of thing, but I feel like a lot of the live elements that, she kind of incorporates when she's performing the songs on the EP were really missed in the overall project. For example, on the song Fires, when she's performing that live, she kind of does this chant with the crowd, and she's like, I need more. Love it, by the way. And I feel like she could have added that in there, as a backing. I think it would have been really fun, but a lot of the songs would have had a bit more oomph and would have taken it to like 150% if she kind of incorporated those live elements. But that's kind of my only con with this project.
Right. Before I get onto my pros, just a little bit of a pushback on that, maybe. Which I agree with. I do think her live performance of the song is absolutely ridiculous. And again, if there's one word to sum up Devaura, it's intentionality. I'll keep saying that. I think that if she did it on the track, then it kind of leaves that room for the live performance to be like at the level it is. Like it's almost like if you're given the whole cake on the track, then what more is there to do?
That's true.
So I kind of I get what you're saying. I 1000% get what you're saying, and I kind of have some similar thoughts on some singles like that we're going to talk on later in the week. But yeah, I also think that having it a bit less, or as it is on the track, allows for then the live performance to shine how it does.
No, I listen, I get it and I understand and I do agree. I don't know, Devaura is known for her live performances, and I just can't take it. I can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. But I do actually agree with that at the end of the day.
No. Okay. And my cons, actually, the first one's not really a con. It is, I'm still not the biggest fan of the Meet Your Maker hook. However, I can't deny how fun and catchy that song is. I will still also be singing na 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 na. And yeah, I just like other Devaura hooks personally. But that's not saying I don't like it. Like I said, fun, catchy, definitely an earworm. But yeah, just not my favorite Devaura hooks. But you can go see my full single review of that from a couple weeks ago. And then finally, I kind of wish that Venice was the closer of this EP and Eden was moved to track 4. I feel like Venice has a nice vibe, just summary or just the aesthetic around it makes it the perfect closer. I understand if Devaura sequenced it in such a way where it kind of, again, told a story. However, I think sonically, Eden makes a bit more sense as 4, then Meet Your Maker, and then Venice.
I get that. Yeah. I do actually get that. Like, because I was kind of I was a bit iffy about that one, but
Mm-hmm.
you kind of brought up that sonically point, and I'm like, yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, yeah. But again, there's a reason why Devaura put it like that, and who knows, could lead into volume 2,
Oh,
maybe.
yes.
So yeah. But anyway, let's get into our overall rating of this project. So if you are unsure, our rating system is, are you here for this? Does it depend on the day, or are you feeling iffy about it? So iffy.
Before I get into my overall rating, I want to say the thing you brought up about the name
Yes.
definitely hits home for me because just the name itself, I'm like, that makes me go, I'm excited for volume 2. I am ready to see what she brings. And on that note, I am definitely here for this. This being her debut is very crazy to me and wigs me out because I've seen so much from Devaura. We've heard a lot of Devaura's music. But yeah, the fact that it's her first official project is very crazy, and she really packaged her strengths perfectly on this EP. It's just a really fun project with parts that do get you in your feels as well, flows perfectly. And yeah, since its release, I continually keep coming back to it, and I think that in itself kind of showcases just how on point Devaura was with the project. Also, the features, the producers did their big one and made every song their own, but it was so cohesive. A lot of hands on deck, but it felt like it was just her. I can't not taking away from the producers and the features, but it felt like one unit was on this project. And yeah, they all did their big one to cultivate an insane listening experience. So I'm here for this, and I'm excited for the other 2 projects.
No, for sure. And I am also here for this. Again, no matter what D has touched so far has turned to gold. There's been very, very little that she has released that I have not liked. And those that aren't my favorites, I'm like, nah, that still goes hard. So yeah, I again agree with that and am also very excited for what volume 2 has got to offer. But are you here for this? Does it depend on the day? Are you feeling iffy about it? Let us know. And yeah, Devaura, Volume 1, Learning in Public, out right now. And this is Reviews. I am Ru, aka the Culture Black Kid.
No, I'm Rue, aka the Cultured Black Kid.
And I am Iffy. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.